It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Two Guys and a Goalie. Hernan, can you turn me up a little bit? Just turn me up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. It seems quieter than it was on Lock Shop. It's messing with my mind right now. Yeah, that's better. That's better. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Two Guys and a Goalie, brought to you by GS Construction. Gager and I were just taking down some of these cookies that were dropped off. But I did say when I was out there, an excessive amount of cookies.
Like
for a drop off, you know?
You rarely see a Ziploc bag being stretched.
A big one.
Massive.
The big Ziploc.
Yeah, you could fit, Cass, if you were sous videing, there's 2 roasts you could fit in these bags. And it is
a lot of cookies.
It's 2 bags of cookies.
They're big cookies.
Massive cookies.
They're big cookies. Good cookies.
What type though? Like, are we talking like chocolate chip, oatmeal?
Chocolate chip.
Oatmeal raisin.
And there's a double chocolate with, it's almost like a ginger snappy cookie too. I
haven't had any of those. I'm a big chocolate chip cookie
ginger
guy.
chocolate?
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's chocolate. It's good. I do prefer. I think the chocolate chips are better, but it's still really good.
I think if you're doing a cookie drop off, depending on the amounts, I would think you always have to include regular chocolate chip cookies. Don't you think?
Yeah, you got to
maybe outside of Christmas, because Christmas is other types of cookies. Yeah. But I think if you're doing like a January, February, March cookie drop off, probably got to include chocolate chip.
Like that's actually pretty ridiculous. Like, how many did you actually make though? Because you obviously made some for yourself.
You probably want to keep some for yourself. It's a lot of cookies.
Yeah.
But as Maddie said, you guys are going to eat all of them.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll go to waste. But those cookies will last. There's 10 of us that come through that door every day. Those cookies will last us the entire week. Like, that's how big and how many there were.
I didn't have any yesterday, but I just looked today and I go, these cookies aren't going to eat themselves.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. Cass, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. Just getting back into the kids' swing of things. They were tired yesterday. They were tired. So was I. But we're good. Yeah, we're good. Plugging along here. I'm excited to have a little hockey game going again here tonight against the Boston Bruins. A little time zone change for the Edmonton Oilers, and fellas, we're in good shape.
My kids yesterday were pretty tired too. First day back. My wife actually had to sub yesterday, so she was exhausted.
Oh.
And yesterday was the first day of this new basketball camp we had them both in. So like when we were driving home, the camp was from 5 to 6. We were driving home at 6, and it was a quiet vehicle. Like everybody, that was the first time I'd been up at 4:30 in like two weeks. Like we were all just like, just beat the crap out of us. Monday did. But how long does it usually take for your girls to get back in the swing of things, Cass?
It almost takes a whole week, doesn't it? Like from an energy standpoint, at least half a week. It takes at least 3 days, and then usually I think the emotions start to come down a little bit, but they're still really tired. Full week to get into the full schedule. I think 3 days to deal with the emotions, and then you're okay.
It was pretty funny because I dropped my daughter off at school on Monday, and I just, I don't know why, but I just remember that first day back after Christmas vacation, everyone was wearing their new clothes that they got over Christmas. So essentially, there's a part of the parking lot where I pull in to get to the front, and there's all these kids crossing the street. So I pretended I was the announcer at a modeling show, and just here is Dimitri with his new Nike Airs and a sweet North Face backpack. So
that's nice.
Yeah, there was everything was shiny for sure.
It's funny you say Nike Airs because I got a new pair of Nikes for Christmas. Well, because I got some for the Estes.
Yeah.
And I told Tam, I said, I think I want to become a sneakerhead. And so she surprised me with a nice pair of like orange and black Airs that I'll wear them at some point. Like it was going to be sloppy today, I thought, so I didn't want to wear. But yeah. And now I've got 2 pairs of nice Nikes.
During the unveil of presents, which I was no part of, my son got a new pair of Nikes.
Wait, what do you mean you were no part of?
I don't know.
Were you sleeping? Or
no, I wasn't there at the purchase point of a lot of the presents.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You know that those memes where the dad is just as surprised as the kids? Like I was. I was like, wow, those look great. But then my son was like, I can't wear these outside until at least summer because they're too nice.
Yeah.
But again,
you got to wear the hell out of them when you can.
Do you know my son moved out?
No.
Oh, okay.
What?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
Last week.
Really?
Yeah.
How old is he now?
19.
And he moved out.
Moved out.
Did he have a buddy?
No, a girlfriend.
Your son moved in with a girl
Yeah.
at 19?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cass, how old's your oldest right now?
9.
Yeah, mine's 9 as well. He turns 10 in March.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being there in 10 years. And can you imagine me coming in here and being like, hey guys, Marshall moved in with a girl? That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you think about it as a dad?
Well, I went through the progression, but it was
How long have they been dating before they moved in?
since not long, over some. Well, it's been a long time, maybe a year, I guess. But it's been online. She was originally from Saskatoon.
Okay.
She moved down here for school.
Okay.
And he was helping her look for a place. And then he floated the idea, yeah, I think I might move in with her. I go, okay, well, sure. I mean, you can't. And then he after Christmas goes, yeah, I'm moving. And I was like, all right. And at first,
He's been working for a couple years though, right? Like through school and stuff,
He's quite mature that way. But it was jarring to see him pack everything up and borrow my truck to take it over a few trips and helping him get some things for the place and things like that. And then
Shower curtains. That's always the one where they're like,
yeah,
you
he did.
have shower curtains?
He bought he showed me the shower curtain he bought, not knowing that he needed a bar and rings too. he asked me, "Hey, how does this stay up?" Oh yeah. So I think the realization of what's required is dawning on him a little bit more, and there's a little bit more appreciation of what his mother and father have done for him over the few years, and he's happy. We actually went on Sunday to the Boston Pizza
with him and his
girl, and bought them dinner, and
What?
and they took all the leftovers home and stuff like that. So it was
when my mom was 19, she had 2 kids already.
Okay.
But it's a different time now. Like I can't imagine Elizabeth being like, Daddy, I'm moving in with a boy when I'm 19. Like I just I think I'll probably blow a gasket. Cass, I just don't see a world where that happens.
Oh man.
He's got 3 girls.
19. No.
I've told Marshall and Elizabeth they have to live at home till they're 25. That's it.
Yeah.
Done. You're living at home till you're
come
25.
back and talk.
Live at
to
home
them
till
when
you're
they're
done
16.
school.
Yeah, I maybe when you're done 6. Yeah.
It was tough. It was tough that first weekend, and during the weekend, then I was sitting there, and a big part of when he was little, trying to potty train him because he was holding on to number 2s for some reason.
Oh, and, that's the worst.
Boys do that.
They just it was their last. Well,
girls can do it too. I can tell.
Not
girls
mine.
can
Actually,
do it too.
Yeah, it's true.
But I sat with him in the bathroom until there was a movement, and it turned into I eventually read him the entire Harry Potter series, not all in the bathroom, but So, but we read the whole, and then there was a Harry Potter marathon on that weekend, and my wife was working the entire weekend, and I was like at home alone. My daughter wasn't there, just me and the dog. And I was basically a blubbering mess watching the Goblet of Fire.
Oh my God. Okay, now on the other side of this, do you remember when you first, what led to you first moving in? Like, did you live with another girlfriend before your wife, or did you guys move in together well before getting married? And Cass, same to you. Because I remember I got a couple stories on that, but how old were you?
When I went to private school too, right?
Okay, so, so you were out on your own.
I was out, and I had billets and stuff like that. But I guess when I was on my own for the first time, I was 21, living in Sydney with the Oilers farm team with Scott Ferguson and Greg DeVries.
Okay.
And so that was the first time, the bills came and we had to do stuff.
Yeah. What about moving in with a girl for the first time?
That would have been, God, when was that? That would have been 2 years later.
2 years later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Cass? You guys get married? You guys live together before you get married and stuff?
No, we did not. We did not. We didn't. And statistically, actually, interestingly enough, from a marriage standpoint, you have a higher likelihood of success of marriage, despite what a lot of people would say of not living together before
Really?
you're married.
So don't buy into the let's test it out thing and see how
let's test it out thing.
Yeah.
Yep. And the more people that you live with before you actually get married, if you have a relational breakdown, the more likely that your marriage, whenever that does happen, is to fail too. So statistically, it doesn't work.
I thought you hated analytics.
No, I like
you did buy a car sight unseen.
I like
Cass?
when
What? You
applied perfect. Okay, but here's the we could get all kinds of conversation. It's not buying a car unseen. I mean, I tell my wife and I
test
tell
drive.
people,
I wasn't going to be rude.
It's not test drive. I mean, people aren't cars. Marriage and committed relationships are not vehicles. They're a lot more complex. And it's like,
have you been in a new car?
I have. Yep. I'm saying it's not. Statistically, it doesn't work out that way. And there's something about making that commitment later. But we don't have to dig into that too much because we could talk a long time. But no, we didn't live together before we were married. Didn't, and I would choose not to. Again, would recommend to most people not to. But for some people, that's the direction that they want to go, and they see value in it. So I'm not going to jump all over them for doing it.
I had a girlfriend that I was dating in Lethbridge, and we were kind of on again, off again for a while. And like, she thought one of the ways to like fix things was like to move in. And I was like, not happening. I was like, I'm not moving in with you. I can't, I needed to be, I was like 24, 25. I was like, nope, I got to be with my roommates. Like, I'm not moving in. And then I essentially moved in with Tam before we got married because I was homeless in Fort McMurray. I didn't have an apartment. I didn't have anything.
Place to stay.
I was living in the radio station for a month. She's finally like, "You just want to move in with me?" I was like, "Thank you." So I went from being homeless to moving in with Tam, and I haven't left.
That's hilarious.
So wow, Gage, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I told him, I said, look, if, hopefully things go well, but if they don't work out, there's always a place for you here. Look, you have trouble, scrubbing a toilet seat.
Yeah.
Don't think you can change a diaper anytime soon. I know.
Oh, man. But when we started doing Two Guys, he was like 14.
I know.
And now he's living with a girl.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's nuts. All right, it's Two Guys A Goalie, brought to you by GS Construction. If you're looking for a new job, GS Construction, they are hiring now, setting the industry standard for 50 years with quality, efficiency, and safety driving their success. GS Construction has a foundation built on teamwork, and they want you to become a part of their team right now. Visit www.gsconstruction.ca and click Ready to Work, or visit their page at Indeed.ca. And with Next Up Person program at GS Construction, it's not just a job, it's a career. Starts as a job. The Next Up Person program elevates it to a career for you. Go work with Sam Mann and his team at GS Construction. Before we're going to get to the Oilers and Bruins, some other things around the NHL. We'll get to Hire It or Fire It. Did you watch WWE and Netflix last night at all?
No, I didn't.
So you weren't intrigued by it at all, or is it just...
I was about to, because I saw the preview or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I saw Hollywood Hogan or whatever, and a meme, and I'm not watching that. I'm not getting sucked in.
I watched The Rock for the first 15 minutes.
Did you?
And then
How was it?
Well, it was The Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, I like The Rock. I like his movies. I even like some of his bad movies.
Yeah.
So I decided, but it just seemed clunky to me. It's like to me, it was like they said, let's bring The Rock out and have him, give a stroke to Netflix.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was going, thank you to Netflix. Thank you to the executive. I was just like, this isn't part of the show. What is this? So I was a little disappointed. After that, I didn't watch much. But that was interesting, though, to see a property that big move over to another giant like that.
It's funny how the progression of these huge events, like unfortunately, that Jake Paul fight was massive.
Yeah.
Right. And then they had the games on the NFL games and now wrestling.
Cass, do you think that would be good for the National Hockey League to get involved in more streaming? Like they've done the Monday nights on Prime. I think that was part of it. I think that was a perfect. That was a perfect world because Sportsnet wanted to recoup some money on the awful deal they did, and Prime was looking to dabble in, so it kind of worked for that. Where do you think it goes from here, Cass?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to see more and more streaming with sport. I mean, that's the direction we're going here, fellas. Regardless of what I think about it, what you think about it, what anybody thinks about it, that's the direction it's going. I know I've said it before, but I think like to watch every single Yankees game, I think you need like 6 different providers via cable and streaming.
Yeah.
No, I'm not joking. Like I'm pretty sure it's 6. It's not like 5 or 6. Like it's nuts. And you're going that way too with the rest of it. Now I like the idea of dipping the toe in. Like it feels like Netflix has jumped. Like they just went head first. They're really just like, let's just do it and we'll learn as we go. As opposed to what Amazon and Prime seems to be doing, which is like, let's just stick our toe in and start to figure this out and build it and learn. And I think to me, that's a better approach because it just makes it more enjoyable for me. Like, because they know what they're doing. And then when they fully get into doing way more games, it's like they already kind of know and they have some experience, as opposed to what feels like, jumping all the way in is not that it's a bad product, but it's just not a clean product, if that makes sense.
Do you think people have signed up for Amazon Prime, like hockey fans, just so they don't miss the one Monday night game a week when there's games on every other night that we can watch anyway, Gager?
Psychopaths will. But I mean, I think it was their original idea was they had the Prime series with hockey, right? And I think that led into people going, "Oh, okay, let's. This is interesting. I want to see more." I think the Drive to Survive series just ignited all these other shows because of the popularity of it that it brought to the sport and how many more eyes are upon it now. And I mean, that was a pretty good series. That Prime series,
I liked it.
It was really good to see, to pull back the curtain a little bit more. And the game against the Panthers, Edmonton Oilers Panthers, that was great because they had snippets of what happened last year in the finals. They did a great job. And for someone that maybe knew, okay, they were in the finals last year, maybe they watched the Prime series and then could actually see them play, and it was a back and forth battle, maybe it brings more people, gosh, this hockey thing, I might want to give this a try.
Yeah, Cass, do you think it was about drawing in new subs, or do you think it was about just showing, hey, we can do this with this league just like we do on Thursday Night Football with the NFL?
Yeah, I think both. I don't think it's for immediacy with the amount of games that you're doing. It's not like you're going to get a lot of subs, but it's with the hope of getting more later and then getting the subs, right? Like showing that we can do it, showing that we're capable, showing that it's going to be a good product, good experience. And then as they ramp up and do more and more games, then it will be about getting the subs. So it's about kind of entering into it first, making sure they have a good product, and then saying, okay, we're gonna try to really push this here, have more games to where people, I don't want to say you're forcing people to subscribe, but you're encouraging them strongly by having it be one of the only places you can watch. That's probably the direction they're gonna go. That's how I do it anyways. It makes sense to me.
I'm curious if anybody's listening, or if you're watching on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast later on, did you sign up to Amazon just because you want to watch the Monday night game? I haven't heard, I haven't had any buddies. Now, Huss, who was just on the Lock Shop with me, said he's not a big movie guy or show guy. Yeah. He watches sports. That's what Huss does. He said he didn't have Netflix, but signed up for it yesterday for the first time because of the WWE.
Really?
Yeah, and they took their whole catalog there. Like, you can go watch WrestleMania 6
I know.
right now on Netflix, right? So I see that as more of a driver than maybe what some of these other leagues are going to accomplish. Oilers and Bruins tonight. We'll get to the Oilers line combinations here. Bruins have lost 4 in a row. We'll have the GCL Diesel pregame show. That'll get rolling in the middle of the Reed Wilkins show today at 4 o'clock with Tommy Gazzola and Hernan Salas, and I think Belzy today. They'll be going 4 to 5, and then the Reed Wilkins show will come back on from 5 to 6, and then we'll have post-game coverage as well. The interesting thing from the Oilers yesterday, a third line change with Skinner playing alongside Henrique and Zach Hyman. Cass, your thoughts on that trio, what they could accomplish, and what you think Knobloch is trying to accomplish by putting those three guys together?
Well, I mean, what you're trying to accomplish is a third line that can put up some points. That's what you're trying to accomplish, like an offensive threat third line, kind of like a soft second line on some of the poor teams in the league, right? So on some of the not as good teams, that line could be the equivalent of some of their second lines. From a skill standpoint, you have Hyman in there, a guy that retrieves pucks is going to be around the net. You have a guy in Skinner that likes to control the puck, likes to shoot the puck, and Henrique that's not as fleet as foot as he once was, which would be my only fear for the line as a whole, is it's not a fast line. But a group that skill-wise has the potential to put some pucks on net and hopefully put some pucks in the net. And that's what you're going with. Now, Brown, I think he's worked his way into that spot because he's been playing really, really well. Moves well, speed, retrieves pucks, which we know McDavid likes, like a guy that's in and around it. Not that Hyman doesn't, but I think you're looking at this and saying, okay, for Henrique and Skinner, if you're going to have that pairing together, and if Skinner starts to play better, and you want him to, right? Like you want this guy to play well, you want this guy to have confidence. He hasn't had much for really the entirety of the season. Putting them with Hyman maybe just gives you a little bit more offensive confidence in that group. So yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I like it. As I said, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts. My concern, and it's not like a massive concern, but my concern is just this speed on that line that they may not have enough.
Yeah, I said that today. I don't know if it hurts them, their lack of speed on the line, but I'm curious if it holds them back a little bit. And what you said Knobloch wants to accomplish is by getting a little bit more offense out of that group. I'm not sure they got the wheels to do it, depending on the matchups. Gager, what do you think of that trio?
I like it. But I think it's looking down the road of when they put these guys together to combat in a Game 7 series. I think the game against LA Kings opened up the eyes of the Edmonton Oilers of what they need.
Okay.
Right? Because you look at supposedly the second line with Byfield, Jeannot, and Fogle. And then you have Fiala, Deneau, and Moore coming back. And that's not even looking at their top line with Kopitar, Kempe, and Turcotte, right? So,
and we'll get to see this again on Monday.
I think this is more okay. The Kings are three really balanced lines. We need and they're good this year. They're getting Doughty back soon. I think this is a direct result of seeing what they kind of need. Because let's face it, they're going to play them in the first round of the playoffs anyway.
Okay, let's pick up this Henrique conversation that we were having this morning. And Cass, I want to bring you in on this because we pointed out this morning that the only three players on this team that have a lower points per game this season than Adam Henrique are Derek Ryan, who's been healthy scratched, and then Stetcher and Emberson on the back end. Like his production this year has been far below what you expected. And we asked people this morning, do they need more from Adam Henrique if they're winning hockey games as much as they have been since the end of November? He's winning over 54% of his faceoffs. He's a part of the penalty kill. But yeah, he doesn't or hasn't produced offense anywhere near the clip that you'd probably like him to this year. So, Cass, you always want more from like everybody. But do you think they need more from Adam Henrique? Or I think it was a good point Trev made this morning, or we were talking about it. We're like, I'm not sure if you and Tommy and Hernan on postgame have talked about Henrique good or bad all season on the postgame.
We've talked about him a couple times. There's been a couple times, and the couple times we've talked about him, it's been more like he needs to do something more.
Yeah,
like offensively. It's not a problem, guys, until it is. It's not a problem. Him not getting points is not a problem until it's a problem. And by that, I mean, with McDavid and Draisaitl being as just dominant as they're being, Draisaitl in particular right now, it hasn't hurt you. But you don't want it to get to a point where it could. And there's potential for that. Like if McDavid, that offense dries up, if Draisaitl, if that offense dries up, if they have a little cold spell, which isn't very common. It's pretty rare that happens, but then you're going to be looking to your depth guys. And I've always said that with the Oilers the last couple of years, where it's like your depth scoring typically isn't an issue because your big guys do the heavy lifting and your power play does the heavy lifting, and usually you end up okay. You more look and from the consistency of production, I more look ahead to like the playoffs, where I'm like, okay, if you want him to be at a level of play and offensive capacity where that line can be dangerous. Whoever's on his line for Adam Henrique can be dangerous in the playoffs. And I think it's fair to say that you absolutely want more. Now, there are things he's doing well. The penalty kill has been great, still continued, horrible at the start of the season, but it's been great. And he's found a good spot in that kill as a regular penalty killing forward. But offensively, yeah, I think it's I think it's fair to say that he hasn't done enough and hasn't found a way to get it done. And you would like to see more. And again, it's not a problem yet because they've continued to win hockey games. That's mostly because the big boys have been the big boys. The issue will be, and when we'll have those conversations and all of a sudden be flustered with the play of Adam Henrique, is if the offense dries up for a little bit from the big guys and you're not winning games, that extra offense has got to come from somewhere. And he's going to be a guy that needs to be at the top of that list.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Cass. I just, like you said, it's not a problem till it is, and Adam Henrique is not here to score goals during the regular season. He's here to provide supplementary scoring from game 83 on,
and solid defense and penalty killing in a playoff role, and he's got playoff experience. So it makes a good point. If the team all of a sudden starts struggling and they can't score, then you're going to look at him and go, okay, what's going on here? You're going to look at that Nugent, Hopkins, and Hyman, who have one more 5-on-5 point than Jeff Skinner, and be like, okay, it's time for you guys to get going. Cass, we talked about this yesterday here on Edmonton Sports Talk. I'll throw the question your way. Which stat surprises you more? Connor Brown being fourth on this team in even strength scoring behind only McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard, or Evan Bouchard not having a power play goal yet this season?
I had connection problems and I missed all of that.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm going to say it again. Okay. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. What surprises you more? Connor Brown being fourth on the team in even strength points behind only Bouchard, McDavid, and Draisaitl, or Bouchard not having a power play goal this season?
Ooh, that's a tough pick 'em. I've got to go with the Connor Brown. And I know he heated up and he played really well in playoffs. Like he got a lot better at the end of the season. But still that he's fourth on this team in points, that still surprises me.
Even strength points, just because he doesn't play on the power play, but even strength points, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, even strength points. That still surprises me, where he has just found ways to produce. And with how snake-bitten he was, how he couldn't score last year, that to me is a little bit more surprising. They both are really shocking, though. I mean, the Bouchard one it's nuts that he doesn't have a power play goal yet. I mean, that's nuts too. So they're both pretty like, whoa, I wouldn't have anticipated that. But I got to lean slightly towards Connor Brown for me.
I posted the poll yesterday on Twitter. I think like 82% of the vote was actually on Bouchard. I think when I saw both these stats, like the Bouchard one, I was just like, wow, that's weird. But the Brown one kind of blew my mind. Gager, which way would you have voted on this one?
I just think it's Bouchard because that power play has been so effective, and he's been so effective on the power play.
Like there's 5 guys who've scored on the power play this year for the Oilers. The 4 forwards who are on PP1 and Ekholm, who has 3 power play goals as well. Now, Gager, why hasn't Bouchard scored on the power play? Let's discuss this for a second.
I think teams are doing a much better job. They know he possesses a really good shot. The shooting lanes are taking away much quicker and almost guarding against it a little bit more. I'd like to see you see that top guy cheating to Bouchard a lot, which I think has opened up a little bit more room down low, but he has been a little bit of a shin pad tester throughout the first half of the season here. A lot of his shots aren't getting through. And sometimes I think he's trying to put a perfect puck, like he's trying to score, right? You don't always have to. The ability of elite D-man just to get the puck through and make the goalie try to make a save, I think that's something. That's all he has to do. Like that shot is nasty. I mean, he's reaching 91 miles an hour just with a wrist shot at times, right? So all he has to do is try to start getting that thing through, I think, and it'll start going in for him.
Cass, what do you think? I mean, I was going to say you're going to focus on getting him a goal on the power play, but are there things that he can just simply change that might help that a bit?
Not hit a shin pad, for once, it feels like, is here in the power play. I think teams are playing him a little bit softer on the penalty kill, where he does have such a great shot, like an absolute the Bouch bomb, as it were, where a lot of times teams on the penalty kill really try to take away his time and space. And what they've started doing is playing him a little bit softer and staying in that shooting lane to try to force him to force it by them. And so that, you understand to a certain extent that limits your ability to score because a guy sitting further back, there's less of an angle to try to get the puck through. And more pucks have been blocked. I haven't seen his total block shot statistic. I'd be interested to see that actually from last year to this year, through games and from a percentage standpoint. Again, I like analytics. That'd be an interesting one to get to.
You do. You do.
I do because they're useful. They help you understand. They're just not predictive as a lot of people treat them. But I think and even from a power play standpoint, the power play has struggled at times this year, especially early on, where they just couldn't get anything going. And his inability to get the puck through is a big part of that, which again factors into that number. Now, for Evan Bouchard, if players are giving you space, it's about not just trying to force it through. It's about making the right play with it, even if that means moving to try to pull people out of position. Because if they're playing you soft, generally it means that they're going to be soft getting to wherever you're moving the puck. So their ability to respond when you move it, if you execute cleanly, is less. So I don't know, guys. I mean, I don't want to say you want to force him to get a power play goal. You shouldn't be, but it's got to be a tool in your toolkit. And I think at times he has been hesitant to get it through, and then at times he's struggled to get it through.
Okay, so I did look up. I don't have the number of shots blocked, but I do have Oilers power play shots so far this season. Leon Draisaitl, 31 shots on the power play in 39 games. McDavid, 25 shots on the power play in 36 games. Hyman with 21 shots on the power play. Nuge with 19 shots on the power play. And Bouchard with 14 shots on the power play. And that's
low.
With when you watch the power play, I would tend to think that Bouchard should probably be third on the power play in shots.
I think they should all be about equal. That's a huge drop off from a spot where you would figure he might have the most shots.
2/3 of the shots that Hyman has taken so far this year. So yeah, Cass, you're right. I mean, he has the puck a lot, but it's just not getting through, essentially.
Yep. It's not. He's not. It's not. It hasn't been. We've seen that kind of time and time again this season, where it's either not got through, or it's blocked, or it's missed. Yeah.
Matthias Ekholm has 3 power play goals. He's played less than 39 minutes on the power play, and he's got 7 shots. So he's got 7 shots on goal in less than 40 minutes. Bouchard has 14 shots on goal in almost 128 minutes. So, I mean, shots per time on ice significantly favor Ekholm when he is out there in the rare situations that he is on the power play. So I guess, it comes down to, hey, you want to score a power play goal? Shoot more. Or get him through more. That might be what the conversation is there. So the Oilers play tonight. They've got 3 games left on this trip. They play tonight in Boston. They get Pittsburgh and Chicago before it wraps up. Gager, 6 pretty juicy points sitting out there. What would you consider? Like, is getting only 4 of 6 points a bit of a disappointment? It's still an NHL road trip. I feel like you still got to be okay with that, don't you?
No, not at this point.
3? No,
I think I don't know why, but I thought that the Seattle game was going to be the toughest. I think you get Boston, they're struggling at the moment, and Pittsburgh's old and slow, and then you got the lowly Blackhawks. I think I did say they're going 6-0 at the start of this thing, I believe. And then I kind of said, well, maybe they'll lose 1. But now, after that, but that was before this game in Seattle. I think they extend this 3-game winning streak to 6.
You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Cass, you expecting them to sweep the rest of this 3-game trip here, or this 4-game trip?
I hope so. I always thought Boston, this game was going to be probably the toughest. Now, Boston's been struggling quite mightily recently. They haven't been playing very well. But I think their style of play presents the biggest challenges to the Oilers. But, hey, that's very much on the table for them to sweep this and go on a little bit of run, hopefully close a little bit of distance with Vegas, which is going to be tough because Vegas is playing really well. But guys, it's still on the table. They still can do it. I still would like them to do it. Still a big task. I don't think they're all going to be easy games, but they all should be winnable games. Like, if they play at their best, they should sweep.
Eden texts in at 780-218-9999, says, it seems like every time Bouchard has shot the puck, Hyman has gotten hit. So go get out of the bloody way. Right? That's what you want to do with that situation. A couple of stories from around the NHL. We'll get to hired or fired here for GS Construction as well on Two Guys and a Goalie. Let's start here. When around the National Hockey League, the Montreal Canadiens are in a playoff spot as of today. They're 8-2 in their last 10, Gager. And we asked this of Craig Button on the show earlier this morning. I mean, finally putting things together, or just all teams kind of get lucky at some point during the season?
I don't know. Did you watch? Were you able to watch a lot of that game last night?
I was not.
Okay.
We had basketball. And
the Canadians looked really good. And I don't know if the Canucks were a little bit off. There's some injuries there. But where I thought, because I was watching for a bit, and I believe the Canucks scored like 2 goals within 15 seconds, I believe, in the second period. And I thought this game is over. And the resiliency of the Montreal Canadiens, they were fun team to watch. And they came right back. And that Lane Hudson's fun to watch. He's a special hockey player, and he scored kind of a
modern day defenseman.
He scored a lucky one, but Montreal's a cool place, and you can attest to this, Cass. When they start rolling, there's very few other buildings in the league where the home team can get juice out of their fans like in Montreal. They were going nuts at that game, and it's surprising. Maybe I was giving them crap about that the rebuild, that show that was on, but obviously it was well timed.
Dropped it perfectly. Cass, so for years we've talked about, in the offseason on Two Guys, we've talked about Ottawa, Detroit, Buffalo, Montreal. Right now, Montreal, look, they're in a playoff spot, but the East isn't a bunch of juggernauts.
Yeah.
Like they're 19, 18, and 3. They've won less than half their games, but they're in a playoff spot with 41 points. Ottawa has 2 games in hand, is just a point back. Detroit has won 4 in a row. They made the coaching change there. It seems to sort of jumpstart them a bit. They're 3 points back. They've got a game in hand, and then Pittsburgh and Columbus on the other side of the Metropolitan still sort of in the mix there. But if you had to bet, if you had to go to Coolbet right now and bet on one of Montreal, Ottawa, or Detroit to possibly make the playoffs, which one of those 3 organizations are you taking right now?
Oof. I would say Ottawa, but the Ullmark injury really hurts. Really hurts. So if he's out long term, which he may be, I gotta kind of lean towards Detroit. And I know they haven't played that well this year, but they're starting to pull it together. Like I had expected a lot more from them over the course of the season. I think they've really struggled mightily at times.
When they approached the offseason like a team that thought they were taking a step this year too, didn't they?
They were taking a step, yeah. And I thought they were going to. I thought Ottawa was too. I figured Ottawa would challenge for a wild card spot, which is kind of where they are. Ullmark's healthy. It's clear-cut favorite for me would be the Sens, but he's not, and he's such a big part of that team that I got to lean a little bit towards the Detroit Red Wings. Sorry, Dusty. Montreal's not making it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really expecting them to make it. I'm surprised they're in a playoff spot right now. I thought over the years that Detroit and Ottawa would get there before Montreal. So the fact that they're kind of in the same group right now, I think is a positive step for the Habs. But Gager, who would you side with in this?
Dude, I'm with Montreal, and that's just recency bias of watching the majority of the game against the Colorado Avalanche, where they won in a shootout, tight, fast game. And what I saw last night they're a young team, and yes, there's mistakes, but they're exciting to watch. And it's a team that looks like they're having fun. I'm gonna say Montreal squeaks in there.
All right, here's another thing from around the NHL. I guess it ties in last night because the Canucks are involved. But something's got to give in Vancouver.
Yeah.
JT Miller, Elias Pettersson trying to calm the rumors that there's a significant rift between those two guys. Drager on Monday on our show basically said, you're getting it from me, but it's worse than you even think it is in Vancouver. Cass, how would you handle this situation? Would you move JT Miller or will you move Elias Pettersson? Or would you just say, hey, you're grown-ass men, suck it up. They're both phenomenal talents. And you think, I mean, they're so different as players that if you'd really want them both long term as an organization. So how do you handle this, Cass? Because it seems like something's got to give of significance here.
Something's got to give. I mean, in a perfect world, you just get them to be friendly enough, right, to not have it cause any issues. From an age standpoint, I mean, you got to lean towards Elias Pettersson, but JT Miller just plays in a way that's really hard to emulate for a lot of players. Like, there's not a lot of guys that can play that fine line with the physicality that he brings with as much skill as he does. Like, there's not a ton of guys that do that in the league, and so that's a really tough one to let go. I mean, it puts you in a horrible position as a team because if you have to move one of them, you're not getting enough back. Guaranteed. You are not getting enough back. Like, you just can't replace those guys. Those trades generally do not work out. I can't think of, I mean, I don't know if you guys can think of, and I'm sure there's one or two out there, but where it's like you traded a star, elite, absolute stud player and you got enough back.
Nothing against Jonathan Huberdeau. But when you move a Matthew Tkachuk, it's tough to get what he's worth.
It's really tough to get what he's worth back. And granted, in that situation, at the time, and I know Huberdeau hasn't panned out like you'd like him to, but
he was coming off a huge year. Yeah.
Coming off a huge year, and everyone was like, okay, at least you got something that was pretty good. And yes, he hasn't panned out, but that one at the time, you're like, okay, well, maybe it works out even. But guys, this is tough. I mean, you have to find a way. Again, guys don't have to be best friends, but you can't have that bleed out. If it is indeed bleeding out into the dressing room, you just can't have that happen. I mean, and part of it for who you move to gets into who's the root of the issue between it, because yes, it takes two to tango, but if there's a big personality difference, who's being the aggressor from a relational standpoint, like who's perpetrating and making it worse, who's just kind of, maybe they both are. I don't know, but it's nasty. It's tough. Really hard to know what to do because you're not getting enough back. But you gotta find some way to salvage it. And the ideal scenario is you just are able to retain both guys. But who knows if that's going to be able to happen?
Yeah. I mean, you trade either one of these guys, and then come playoff time, you're like, boy, I wish we had a Pettersson, or like, oh, boy, I wish we had a player like Miller in the playoffs here. You're just. And it's terrible. I think that they're going to ride this out, though.
You think so?
Well,
they are also in a playoff spot as of today.
Yes, and
they're banged up though.
They were like, there was a lot of anticipation and hope for success for the Vancouver Canucks at the start of the season, and I think they're just going to let this thing ride. And then if there's an early exit in the playoffs, because I do think that the Vancouver Canucks will make the playoffs. If there's an early exit, you will probably see one of these guys will be gone in the offseason. I just think from the management will want to keep both these guys because they know that the whatever's coming back in return, you won't be able to replace what you have. You're almost better suited to just hope. Come playoff time, these guys can figure it out and they can go on a bit of a run.
Penner's Pancakes in on the Nasty Chat with an interesting proposition.
Yeah, I don't know that too.
If this would happen, but it's an interesting one. Is what about a trade with the Buffalo Sabres, Dylan Cousins and Bowen Byram for Pettersson?
What, so Miller can start yelling at Cousins?
A little bit tougher to yell at Cousins, though. Big guy, not overly physical, but he's a big-bodied player. They get some defensive help with Byram like that. That's an interesting one to me.
That is a good one. Good job.
I think it'll be that type of deal for whoever goes. Like, you're going to get it. Like, Cousins is interesting because he had 68 points in 81 games 2 years ago, and then 47 and 79 last year, and he's got 20 and 41 this year. So I thought after that 68-point season, he was ready to explode. Now, is that the year? Well, Tage Thompson went 47-47 for 94 that year, and Jeff Skinner had 82 points in 79 games for the Buffalo Sabres as well. Cousins was actually fifth on that team in scoring with 68. I mean, I guess it depends on how badly you want to move these guys.
Well, Pettersson his no move doesn't kick in till next year.
Okay, and JT Miller has a no trade, I think.
JT has.
I saw one of the rumors
modified no trade clause.
He'd probably
12
only,
team no trade clause.
So the Canadian teams, I think, will be on there. I think JT Miller probably get shipped back out. I know the Rangers have been linked.
Not him.
Sorry, who else?
I saw the wrong guy. Oh, no movement. Sorry.
So it's his call.
Yeah.
Where do you guys come out on it being his call when? Well, I guess he doesn't technically want out. I mean, they're trying. I always hate it when somebody's like, trade me, but here's my no movement clause. I'll only go to these two teams. Like, I think if you ever put out a formal request, there got to be some sort of give and take. Well, no, I guess, you know what? You negotiated that. That's your right in your contract.
Look,
but still.
Miller has proven what type of player he is in the playoffs. Pettersson hasn't, especially last year. I like Penner's pancakes move right there. There's probably other couple, but I would look at. But it solves a few problems. Yeah, you're not getting as a dynamic a player back, but you're getting a really good player, and you're solidifying your decor. It provides a top 4 guy that they're looking for anyways.
I'm not sure about the money or the contracts on this one, but it came in via text, and I saw it on a Rumor Mill article this morning. Cass, where would you come out on your boy DJ Zibanejad for JT Miller?
That's an interesting one too. I like.
I mean, he's Swedish, right? I mean, I'm just saying, that's another Swede to go with Pettersson. I mean, it should be a better relationship.
You don't get the same physicality from DJ Zbad, but really, really good player. I mean, that's an interesting one too. I'd have to chew on that for a minute.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know about the contracts and term and everything like that, but
it's pretty. It's close. It's exactly the same. Yeah, they both have no movement clauses. 8-5 for the DJ, and Miller's 8.
So I mean, that's something that could happen.
Same age.
Something you could look at. All right, let's get to Hire It or Fire It, of course, for GS Construction, where they are hiring today. Visit their page at Indeed.ca, or just go to the website, and if you're ready to work, scroll down. You will see how you can start that process. This is a deeper question we could probably do an entire show on, so it's kind of greasy of me to just throw it in there right now. And you guys can base your answer on this season or however you want to interpret it, but I'm just going to ask it and step back. Leon Draisaitl's a better player than Connor McDavid. Go, hire it or fire it.
Hire it.
Whoa!
Well, right now he is.
Right now he is, right? But
right now, yeah.
Like he's winning 56% of his draws. He's got twice as many goals essentially. Like
he's calling Bush Schnitzel. It's
what do you think, Kaz? I mean, the fact that we could even say yes, he is right now is phenomenal stuff for Leon Draisaitl.
It is phenomenal stuff. I gotta fire it though, boys. Like McDavid still is better, but Leon's really, really good. Like Leon's playing better right now. I mean, overall, I still read that question. Like I gotta fire it. McDavid's still better, but Leon's one of the top players in the world, and he's showing it. He is on fuego, as our boy Hernan Salas would appreciate the Spanish.
You're gonna lose your German passport, Cass.
Yeah. For what? Saying fuego?
No.
Oh, because never mind. Because I'm saying he's not the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen. He's one of the best in the world. He's playing like the best right now. Like his level of current play is he's playing as the best player in the world right now. But overall,
he's just in beast mode right now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And there are elements of the game anyway that Draisaitl is better than McDavid in. But I mean, McDavid's such a phenomenal offensive freak, especially when he's on. But Draisaitl, I mean, I don't know if he can play better than he's playing right now. You are excited for the new Superman movie in 2025. Hire it or fire it.
Fire it.
Just anti-Superman overall?
No, I watched that preview. I was just
You didn't like that trailer?
It's a dog in it.
There is a dog in it.
Oh,
What's the
man,
dog's name?
come
Crypto?
on.
Crypto. Come on.
Crypto. Come
I'm
on.
I'm more fired up for this Superman movie than I was for any of the other ones that
What?
come out. Yeah, I know it seriously.
Yep, me too. I gotta hire it. Sorry to disagree with you, but not sorry, Gager. It was the first time, probably since the Infinity Saga with Marvel, and like the previews for the last word trailer got me jazzed a little bit. Like where I was like, all right, because it just seemed to, like I feel, and I felt that going into the first Henry Cavill Superman, like I felt that watching that trailer too, where I was really, really excited and then was really, really let down when the actual movie came out. But like, where I was like, this could capture everything that Superman feels like it's supposed to be to me and some of the magic of the old ones in some ways. So yeah, I know there's a dog in it. I know you don't like that, but he's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Good little boy, Gager. He's a good little boy.
Come on.
You're a dog guy.
I love dogs.
Well,
Dogs are the
obviously,
best.
you don't love Crypto.
Well, Crypto
Yeah.
doesn't belong in the
You hate
movie.
dogs.
He belongs in a cartoon.
I don't know. I'm excited. I think I'm more excited for that than the Brave New World from I know. I'm serious.
Did you see the? I watched. The
I know
new
Red
trailer.
Hulk. The Red Hulk. Harrison
show
Ford.
him.
I know. I'm excited for both. Don't get me wrong, but I'm really excited for this Superman movie. All right, let's go here. The Canucks should trade both Pettersson and JT Miller.
Fire it. Wait till the summer.
Imagine what you could get for both those guys, like to different places.
Yeah,
Imagine
you're
pawning them
blowing-
both off on the same team and be like,
Oh my God.
your problem
Blowing
now.
everything up. Yeah.
See, that's what they need, an NBA like 10,
Yes.
15 player deal involving both these guys.
Or a Western Hockey League deal where 9 picks are moved.
Yeah.
There's 12-year-olds being traded in the dub right now.
Come on. You know Rutherford wants to facilitate this thing, so
Oh boy, I still gotta fire it. You gotta, if you have to move them. I don't think you want to, but if you have to move them, you're moving one of them. You can't move both. You can't do it.
This is a quick one.
The return won't be there.
I think we'll all be on this. Ovechkin breaks Wayne Gretzky's record this season.
Hire
or
it.
fired.
Hire it.
What a
You
freak.
guys just-
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
that Russian gas.
The
baby.
fact that he's tracking this down in style this year is.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's awesome.
I'm happy that's the way it's happening. Like
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah. Okay, then let's wrap up with this one. Hire it or fire it for GS Construction. Seafood is overrated. Hire it or fire it.
Fire it.
Fire it. Everybody's always like, oh, seafood. Let's go for seafood.
Although
Please.
I did take a break from seafood after the Seaspiracy documentary, doing my part for the world. But no, I like seafood.
That's like when I saw that McDonald's documentary. I didn't eat McDonald's for like 6 months.
Supersize Me?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, don't watch Seaspiracy.
I got back on it.
You'll be saying that you're helping the earth replenish itself.
That's why I guess what I'm doing. Cass, what do you think?
Yeah. I got hire. I think it's overrated. I mean, it's some of it is really good, some of it's not as good. I'm not a big seafood guy. Some of it I do like, but I mean, give me a good old ribeye.
Yeah. Give me a steak, man.
Give me a steak.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not bad. A little bit of a split there. What's coming up on EST Afternoons?
Well, we are going down to Boston to talk to Ty Anderson with the Sports Hub, talk a little Bruins. Bo Smolka, we got to talk a little bit Ravens and see what if they're going to be able
football previews.
We're going to get past the KC Kansas City Chiefs here.
Can you ask him if he expects Derrick Henry to have just as good as fantasy season next year?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
You know what? I heard it was funny talking about Derrick Henry. I think it was the Kelsey brother working out with him.
Okay.
Or maybe it was Gronk. It was Gronk talking about, and his arms are like double the size of Gronk's, like two of his. Like he's just a freak to work out with.
Derrick Henry is like when you create yourself in Madden and you're way too big for the position and you look ridiculous. But that's him in real life.
That's what Kelsey said. He says he's 260. He's not. He's like 280, 290.
And he runs faster than everybody. Yeah. God, he's like LeBron James, am I right? All right, that's going to do it for Two Guys and a Goalie today. Cass, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, buddy. We will catch up with you on Thursday. EST Afternoons coming up here on TuneIn, on iHeart, at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, and, of course, on YouTube. Turn on autoplay over on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up before we wrap as well. Turn on autoplay. That'll take you right on over to EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. I'll talk to everybody tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock on The Nielson Show, breaking down the Oilers and Bruins.